How often should you work out? The honest answer will piss off both lazy people and fitness junkies. Do you ever feel like if you can't do 5 days, you may as well do 0? If you keep training yourself to quit the second life gets busy, guess what you get really good at? Quitting. So here's the real question. How often do you actually need to work out to see results? Because if your plan only works when your schedule is perfect, it's not a plan. And the cost isn't just losing progress. The cost is you building this automatic response where every time life gets hard, fitness disappears from your life. And once that becomes your pattern, you're not just busy, you're practicing quitting. So in this video, I'm going to show you the floor number you should never go below, how to decide between 2, 3, or 4 days a week without guessing, and what to do when your schedule explodes so you never hit 0 again. In the beginning, most people ask the question, how many days can I work out? But that's the wrong question. Your body doesn't get results from what you can do. Your body gets results from what you can actually recover from. And that's determined largely by your consistency. Let me show you what I mean. Picture 2 people. Person 1 works out every day for 2 weeks. Then work gets busy, they have to travel, their sleep goes sideways, and they fall off track. They're out for a month, they're back for a week, and then they're out again. Person number 2 works out 2 times a week, and they do that for the next 12 months. It's not perfect, it's just consistent. Who gets better results? Well, it's not even close. The second person wins every time. Because fitness is a compounding game, and the most dangerous number in fitness isn't 2, 3, or 4, it's 0. We're not building a plan for your dream schedule. We're building a plan around the minimum weekly dose you can hit no matter what, even when life gets chaotic. More work isn't always better, but there is a minimum your body needs to actually respond. You can't cram a whole month of training into one day. It just doesn't work like that. But you also don't need to train every single day to get results, because your results come from the training stimulus plus your recovery. If you don't recover, you don't adapt. You just accumulate fatigue. And that's why spacing your sessions intelligently is a cheat code. For most people, Monday and Thursday is way more effective than Monday and Tuesday because you're not showing up still wrecked. Exercise is medicine, but you don't take all your medication in one gulp. There's proper spacing. That makes the dose more effective. So stop worshiping frequency, win the week, stay consistent. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your body doesn't care which days you train. It does care about what you can repeat week after week. That's why I want you to stop obsessing over frequency and how much you can do and start thinking in terms of your minimum effective dose. What can you do week in, week out consistently? Because the person who trains perfectly for 10 days and then disappears for 3 weeks loses. The person who hits a realistic dose every single week, even if it's squeezed into fewer days or shorter sessions, wins. If you're busy, your goal is not to work out every day. Your goal is hit an effective weekly dose consistently. The minimum effective dose. For most busy professionals, 2 workouts a week is the floor. Not forever, not because it's optimal, not because it's better, because it's the minimum that keeps you progressing and keeps you from falling into the all or nothing trap. And here's the part people underestimate. Those workouts don't need to be long. 30 minutes is plenty if you're doing the right things and you're doing them consistently. So think about that. If you can find 2 30-minute windows over the course of a week, you're not failing, you're getting the minimum effective dose. And that keeps your momentum alive. If you get the weekly stimulus and you recover, your body adapts. That's how you make progress. If you don't recover, you don't adapt and you get in the way of your own results. If you keep going to 0 every time life gets chaotic, you're not just losing your fitness, you're training the habit of quitting. So the first win is simple. Make the minimum effective dose your personal standard. No matter how crazy life gets, you still meet the standard. And once that's locked in, the next question becomes, when does it make sense to go from 2 workouts a week to 3 or 4 workouts per week? That's what we're going to cover next. And the answer is going to be based on one thing. Can you effectively recover from a higher dose and stay consistent? All right, so here's a simple ladder. Not what would be perfect in a vacuum, but a real life ladder. So level 1, that's 2 workouts a week. This is your personal standard and the minimum effective dose. So if you're in a busy season of life, or if you're rebuilding fitness as a habit, your schedule may be a little unpredictable. So 2 days is your floor, your minimum effective dose. Now you get bonus points if you can space them out, because Monday, Thursday is a completely different animal than training on Monday and Tuesday. It's still 2 sessions, same weekly dose, but one allows you to recover. The other one gives you a hangover. Level 2, 3 workouts per week. Now this is the sweet spot. If you want the biggest jump in results without turning training into a second job, 3 sessions per week is the money spot. 3 workouts per week is significantly better than 2 because you get more quality reps, more practice, more weekly stimulus, but you can still recover and show up strong. A simple way to think about this is 2 days allows you to maintain your momentum and you can still make some progress. 3 days per week will allow you to accelerate your results for most busy adults. Level 3 is going to be 4 workouts a week. This is minimally better than 3, and you're only going to do this if you can recover and stay fresh. The brutal truth that most people don't want to hear is that 4 is only slightly better than 3. But for a lot of people, it's actually worse. If you're trying to train 4 days a week and you can't stay consistent, or it makes you sore all the time, or it makes you dread your training, then 4 days doesn't give you better results. It gives you burnout. So the rule is you only earn the right to add days to your training when you can effectively recover from the days you already have. So here's a recovery filter that will help you decide what level you're actually ready for. Before you add a day, ask yourself these questions. Am I sleeping well enough to recover? Am I showing up feeling mostly fresh, or am I always dragging? Is my performance going up over time, even slowly, or is it sliding backwards? Am I being consistent, or am I missing sessions because I'm too tired, too busy? If you're consistently tired and sore and your numbers aren't moving, that's not hardcore. That's hard-headed about your recovery problem. And the fix isn't more work. The fix is better spacing, better sleep, and a dose that you can actually adapt to. There's a strong first rule that changes everything. Here are 3 simple concepts that explain this whole ladder. Lift as heavy as possible, lift as often as possible, lift as fresh as possible. And that last one is where most people mess this up. They think being wrecked means they trained hard. No, being wrecked means you actually trained too close to failure too often with a recovery budget that you can't afford. So here's the practical rule. When life stress is high, you're gonna leave 2 to 3 reps in the tank on most sets. You'll still get stronger, you're still gonna build muscle, and you'll actually have some strength left in the tank for everything else that life has in store for you during the week. So the bottom line, 2 days is the floor, 3 days is the sweet spot for most people, 4 days is only a win if you can stay consistent and stay fresh. And if you take nothing else from this section, take this. Your results are built in the recovery. Now, what do you do when life gets chaotic and even 2 workouts feels hard to pull off? That's where having a fallback plan becomes your insurance policy. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like next. Now we get to the part that actually changes people's lives, because this is where most busy professionals lose the game. Not because they don't know what to do, but because the moment the schedule gets tight, they drop straight to 0. And they spend the next 2 weeks trying to restart their motivation instead of just keeping the habit alive. So here's the rule. Never let your exercise go to 0. Have a fallback plan. Not because every workout has to be perfect, because everything above 0 compounds. If life gets in the way of your normal routine, you don't simply skip your workout. You do the minimum that keeps the streak alive, keeps your body trending up. This is a mindset shift. Stop negotiating for perfection. When you're busy, your brain is going to try to do this little math problem. If you can't do the full workout, is it even worth doing anything? That's the trap. Because the goal in a chaotic week isn't to maximize your gains and have trained perfectly. The goal is to keep the habit alive and keep your physiology from backsliding. And there's another benefit that most people don't realize. When you still train in a busy week, even for shorter sessions, you're training the skill of not quitting when things get tough. Build your fallback plan for haywire weeks. This is the real key. You don't want to think when your schedule goes off the rail. You want 1 or 2 go-to workouts that you can fall back on automatically. Something that you can do almost anywhere that gives you a real stimulus without wrecking you. That go-to workout for you might be a simple body weight workout, a single kettlebell workout, or my personal favorites are lactic aerobic workouts. And if you're traveling, you've got 2 easy options. You can use our hotel workout video, or you can check out the video where we break down our lactic and aerobic training options. The point is not variety. The point is having a default you can execute when life gets chaotic. So the rule of thumb for busy professionals: when life stress is high, you want your training to be short and repeatable. It needs to leave you fresher, not wrecked, because the mission is not to annihilate yourself. The mission is to keep showing up. And here's what happens when you commit to that. You stop turning one missed workout into a 2-week break. You maintain momentum. You keep the compounding game going. So remember, your minimum effective dose and personal standard is 2 workouts per week. But when the wheels fall off, you don't disappear. You downshift to your go-to workouts, and you never go to zero. Create your fallback plan before you need it. A wise man once noted, when it's raining, you can't fix the roof. When it's not raining, the roof don't need fixing. And if you want help with exactly what to do with those 2 workouts, schedule a free consultation. One of our coaches will help you create a program that works for you.